Well, it's another winter day, so we're gonna head out tomorrow. We got a decent little window of weather. I'm gonna try to spice this one up. We're gonna fish with shrimp profiles. I don't fish with shrimp lures very often. I just haven't had much exposure with them, so I kind of picked up some of the more popular stuff. We'll take a look at them in a second, like from Savage Gear to the DOAs, and I've got some kind of more indie shrimp profiles I've been sent. So listen, I'm not that refined in my inshore techniques for fishing, but maybe there's going to be something useful out of all this. So. Okay, so I've fished all this stuff for a very limited time so far. This one right here, this is a Savage Gear shrimp. It's a thermoplastic. It's super durable. I think they base these off 3D scans. Super cool stuff. I caught some snook on them in Florida recently. A lot of guys swear by them. They are kind of pricey, but you know, that's as realistic as I've ever seen. These are the DOA shrimps. They don't look like much, man. At the same time, they have a pretty impressive sink rate. This is one that's rigged out of the package, or you can kind of swap out that hook and put your own jig head on it if you're going to be fishing in current. I think we're going to end up doing something like this. But if we end up in low current areas, maybe just casting this out, and I think it kind of has a pretty cool descend. They don't look like much. That's why, you know, if you're intimidated by shrimp lures like I am, this compared to like a paddle tail or a straight tail, this is pretty, doesn't look like a whole lot. And finally, I've got, this is from Australia. A subscriber sent me this back in the summer. I love it when I get some interesting stuff from other countries. Look at this, it's got kind of some cool little feet. I think these kind of like flutter and wiggle as you retrieve it or jig it. So it's kind of unique too in its own way. So for this go, let's just go with these three. Obviously Z-Man, Voodoo Shrimps, Billy Bays. There's a bunch of different gulps. There's a bunch of shrimps we overlooked here, but so yeah, we're gonna take these out. I'm gonna rig them up on like 15-pound test. Probably not seeing big fish, but especially post cold fronts. This stuff, I'm gonna work it. I'm picking the shrimp profiles because I know I'm gonna have to work stuff really slow, most likely. Maybe the temps haven't dropped that drastically yet, but we'll find out. So let's hit the river and see what ends up biting, so stay tuned. All right, guys, I just came across a bunch of fish right on that bank. It could be bait, but that's fish. I think side scan. I think I know how to use this by now. That looks like a lot of fish. I start with the DOA shrimp. And it's blowing pretty good today. This is gonna be a challenging day, I'm not gonna lie. Got a solid south southerly breeze. But yeah, put a little bit of blue crab on a shrimp. You think the fish are gonna know, guys? Just casting current there, current there, current there. It's the only like kind of pool of slack water. It's not very deep, but that's what we're starting with, you know. Got him. Trout. Oh, almost scrimp. Not a big one, but hey, listen, it's a January thing. Oh, come on here, buddy. All right, DOA shrimp. A couple bumps, and there we are. Which reds, stripers, trout, I like to work with the tide. A lot of these fish, man, working against the tide is just not a great way to catch them. Let's try one cast with that thermoplastic. This is the Savage Gear one. Doesn't cast as well, that's for sure. Might have had a bump there. Oh, we did. Better trout too. All right, one for the Savage Gear, one for the DOA. And a much better fish on the Savage Gear trout, on the Savage Gear shrimp right there. Damn, nice fish. Jeez Louise. All right, a huge one. Hefty little 19-inch fish. These are thermoplastic shrimps too. They're super durable. They got a lot of action, but in my opinion, if there's any current, they sink like shit. So you would want to use them like where you would use a hard bait, like a mirror lure. I should do it. I haven't fished mirror lures a whole lot. They are great lures and I've had success with them. Very popular lure here in North Carolina, South Carolina. Not popular in a lot of places in this country though, believe it or not. Mirror lures just aren't popular up north because a lot of guys use bigger glide baits in general. All right, so I think we figured out they like the shrimp, Savage Gear shrimp in particular. seems to be getting a lot of extra love right now. That one didn't even hit the bottom. And we're on them now. Oh, give it back. Give it back. Nice, man, nice. That's nice. All right, so I switched up to a flick prawn. 3-inch swim prawn. Some Australian lure. Subscriber sent it over to me a while back. I just haven't used it much or haven't backwater fished a whole lot. It's got some pretty crazy action. However, it's pretty nasty out. So let's see. Let's see what we can do here. I think we're on slack top. I don't know. Got some water moving. Trying to find a couple fish here. Oh yeah! Saw a couple there on the side scanner. All right. Fishes. Another cookie cutter. Those are the ones I like to eat better. I'm not keeping any fish today. I'm just going through the end of my flounder right now. Yeah, man. So look at the action of this thing. It's hard to tell. Water's kind of dirty. See? Its legs like kick when you jig it. See? It's basically, see all these little ligaments here? Pop. They pop and they have like a little, yeah, the action of this thing is just unbelievable. That's better. I think that's better. This way we can kind of hang out and chill for a second. Oh yeah. That was the right move. That's a nice fruta. Tell you what, they're hammering this little flick prawn. It's a nice fish too, huh? So a couple fish right away. Seems to have slowed down a little bit. All right, I think we need a slight change in strategy. The wind has picked up quite a bit, so I'm getting blown around quite a bit in here. Nice fish. That's the back to the Australian prawn. There we are. That's the clean release right there. Oh, nice try there, sir. That's a nicer fish, actually. Definitely a nicer one. Lots of spots. Very, very colorful. So this is my favorite of all the shrimp profiles I've tied on for my particular conditions. Definitely it's the winter. It just got crazy action. It's a nice trout too, actually. Check that out. It's really unique. I've never seen a lure like this. I've never tied on a lure like this. It's really cool. Got a lot of wiggle. Nice fish. Let's net that one. That's a nice one. That's our biggest of the day, right there. Sweet. All right, I think we're gonna make another move. I think we picked up like 4 or 5 trout here. This one was a real nice one. The rest were kind of, you know, average. Definitely we're seeing smaller size fish today. So what's my final takeaway from all this goofy stuff we're doing today, right? Gosh. I made myself a, well, let's talk as I untangle. Every environment's different, right? Some of these shrimp lures seem to be, of course, environmental based. How much current do you have? Type of forage, etc. From a straight up, like, what fished the best out of everything I tied on today, and of course I left so many shrimp lures at home that didn't get used. I kind of picked the popular ones, the ones I've had a little bit of success on, and then on top of that, the last part of the detail is you know, what time of year it is, you know, this type of fishing. It's currently January, right? And I used the DOAs, which caught a couple fish. What I've learned about these Savage Gear, these guys, right? They're awesome in low current. Seem to have a hard time working these things if you need to get down deep in any sort of current. So if you're fishing low current areas, they are awesome. They've got a lot of action to them. But you see how I got current right here pushing along? They are not good for that. DOAs, these seem to be like a little stiffer. Nice. Yeah, DOAs are definitely a good one. Is that a redfish? This one might be a red, actually. First red of the day. Other thing that's important is always change your profiles around, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a better fish too, huh? Nice, man. This is great fishing, man. This is pretty good winter fishing, man. This is the average size of the speckled trout in North Carolina this fall, I guess. Nice fish from what's it called? On the DOA, man. Pretty nice one, huh? One of the bigger ones for the day. Alright, headed in. I know these backwater videos are kind of boring. It's not really my game, so also on top of that, I'm pretty googanny at it. But of everything I used, these shrimp lures for the day, yeah, these had the most unique thing I've seen in a little while. Caught a bunch of fish on the DOAs, old school, pretty traditional style. These worked pretty well, and just two on the. Oops, we also got a lot of wind knots today. It was blowing hard. Just two on the Savage Gears. These Savage Gears, my best impression was where there was no current. I'm sure if we were flats fishing, yeah, that would work too. So I don't know, just spicing up a normal winter day. Had a lot of wind knots with that Daiwa BG and the J braid. I don't know why. I really haven't brought the BG out for much backwater. I think that's the last time I'm using it for backwater fishing. All right, well, it looks like cold weather's coming, so we're gonna have to change our plans when we get out of here.